The second arcanum of tarot, the High Priestess, unfolds from the first. With the magician, we learn to work with the hammer of willpower and develop concentration in meditation. We direct that willpower into spiritual growth, and if we seek spiritual growth, our innermost is working through us, fighting for us, as our innermost is a warrior. If we listen and enact his will, we gain spiritual warrior experience. However, for us to do the will of our innermost, or as Master Jesus said, "Thy will be done," we must also work with the High Priestess, who is our Divine Mother. A father cannot create without a mother. And just as in an electric current, there simultaneously exists a projective positive charge, the father, there immediately unfolds a receptive negative charge, the mother. A lightning strike that travels from the sky into the earth is the father unfolding into the mother. Our Divine Mother is our capacity for imagination, which is receptive. She is our capacity to perceive non-physical, psychic, or spiritual images within profound meditation and in the higher dimensions where we do what we call lucid dreaming and astral projection. To achieve these profound experiences, we must learn to balance willpower and imagination, the natural forces within our consciousness. This is why the transcendental axiom of the High Priestess is, winds and waves always go in favor of the one who knows how to sail. Remember, the tarot is an expression of cosmic archetypes and principles. One expression is this deck of cards, or arcanum, that we study. These expressions are also encoded in ancient mystical teachings, in yoga, in religion. When one unfolds, it becomes two. Unity becomes duality, which goes on to create variety. Accordingly, variety is unity. All things exist within the Divine Mother, and the Divine Mother is within all things that exist. We each have our own particular Divine Mother, and she loves us dearly. The Divine Mother is the eternal feminine principle of the cosmos. Whether that cosmos exists within or without, above or below, it is the Divine Mother who creates, forms, and unforms all that was, is, and shall be. The Divine Mother is formless, yet she can unfold into many levels, many aspects, and manifestations. She is the unmanifested energy within the root of every atom and potential atom, known as Mula Prakriti. She is also every goddess of transcendental mystic traditions with names like Diana, Shakti, Frigga, Isis, Mary, etc. She is the special individual Mother Nature who created our lunar physical body. She is the one who directs the angels of death upon the time of that body must be returned to her. She is that mother to whom every creature, including us, owes their survival instincts and vital energies. And, at a certain level, the Divine Mother is also the entirety of the Kabbalah, or Tree of Life. At the top of Kabbalah is the Absolute, which is the being of all beings. If our being is experienced through these 10 spheres in Kabbalah, then the Absolute is the being of that being. The Absolute is also known as Sunyata, emptiness, and other names. The Absolute is abstract space without attribute or limitation. Its true nature is beyond mind. To understand the Absolute, we must develop intuition through meditation. The way we do this, practically speaking, is to meditate on the Absolute by placing our mind in quietude, stillness, and silence. After placing that map into our intellect, we explore meditation through the heart of imagination, inspiration, and intuition. The Absolute has three aspects: Ein, Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Aur. Ein is the unmanifested Absolute, a profound and joyous space beyond comprehension of the mind. This is a space that can only be entered if one has completely dissolved the process of I, or me, and myself, that compose the psychological aggregates, vices, or egos. Ein Sof is the second aspect. From Ein Sof, the unknowable feminine aspect creates all of Kabbalah's 10 spheres, or Sephiroth. Thus, Ein Sof is the root of our being, who is unconditioned happiness. This is represented on the High Priestess card as the stars on her dress. Furthermore, her face is in profile, facing left. This symbolizes how, like the magician, part of the Divine Mother is unknowable to the intellect. This also represents how the Absolute is unknowable to the mind. The third aspect is the Ein Sof Aur, where we find the first cosmos, a purely spiritual protocosmos. This is the solar Absolute, formed by multiple spiritual suns. That solar Absolute becomes the Iocosmos, which is all the clusters of galaxies. Then light condenses further into the macrocosmos, which is a single galaxy. Next forms the deuterocosmos, a sun and its solar system. Then the mesocosmos, which is any planet, such as Earth. Subsequently, we reach the microcosmos, which constitutes the philosophical Earth of the human being. Below this is the tritocosmos, which has many names such as the abyss or hell. Here is where consciousness becomes trapped in the suffering of our psychological vices or aggregates or egos. Within us, that microcosmos is Atziluth and the First Trinity. Within this Trinity, the High Priestess is related with the second sphere, Chokmah. In Hebrew, Chokmah means wisdom. This sphere has many archetypes, expressions, and names. In Hinduism, it is Vishnu. In Egyptian, Horus. In Nordic, Balder. In Christianity, Chokmah is the sun, also understood as Christ. However, ultimately, Chokmah is love. Not egoic love, but unconditioned, universal, 100% conscious love. Chokmah contains a universal Christ, a fire that burns for the salvation of all beings. A fire vibrating within the depth of all organic and inorganic matter, created through the Divine Mother. It is that same fire that our own Divine Mother can create within us if certain conditions are met, such as working on eliminating our ego, among more we will discuss in this video. However, the Divine Mother also created our soul, also known as our monad, which is the Second Trinity in Kabbalah. Just as one unfolds into two, the First Trinity of Atziluth unfolds into the Second Trinity of Bria. This occurs as Binah unfolds into male-female, as discussed in the previous video on the magician. The two cosmic forces unite as Father-Mother in the hidden sphere of Da'ath, which is the mysterious alchemical tree of knowledge of good and evil. Thus, in Da'ath, Father and Mother create all things, including the Second Trinity of Father, Mother, and Son. Within this Second Trinity, we find our soul as three in one, the innermost or spiritual soul, our buddhi or divine soul, and our human soul. We'll touch on these three spheres or Sephiroth in future videos, as each one relates with the arcana or cards in the tarot. As the Second Trinity unfolds into lower dimensions, where matter becomes more and more dense, light enters more complex forms of materiality, energy, and experiences. This continues until we reach the physical dimension, the sphere of Malkuth. Here, in the fourth and final world of Asiya, our physical body and experiences exist. The High Priestess is seated between two columns, representing the masculine and feminine forces. Their names are Jachin and Boaz. The white column is Jachin, mercy, and represents the masculine, willpower. The black column is Boaz, severity, and represents the feminine, imagination. These two columns support the temple, and this temple is our heart, where wisdom is born by working with our Divine Mother in both meditation and moment-to-moment life. Because we are seeing the Popes of the Tarot, the High Priestess, from within the heart temple, these two columns in the middle are reversed because we are looking from the inside out. Jachin, the white pillar of mercy, is the right pillar of the tree of life, consisting of Hakmah, Hesed, and Netzach. And Boaz, the black pillar of severity, is the left pillar, consisting of Binah, Geburah, and Hod. The Divine Mother is the force that reunites, that balances, that reconciliates. And she is seated in the middle of the temple, emphasizing our spinal cord, our spinal column, where she rises through the merits of the heart and the divine signs of transmuting our creative sexual energy. This rising of our Divine Mother Kundalini manifests through the middle pillar of the Tree of Life, consisting of Keter, Dahath, Tifereth, Yesod, and Malkuth. These two columns are evenly spaced and balanced in the card, or the arcanum, meaning to perceive the Divine Mother, the High Priestess of the Tarot, to lift the veil of Isis, means to perceive and return beyond the physical dimension. It means we must balance the masculine and feminine forces within us in meditation through transmutation of our creative forces, and ultimately by dissolving our desires, our psychological defects, our egos. This is how we achieve inner balance and build the temple. Notice how each column has 4 segments. This represents the different lunar bodies that we must transmute into solar bodies, or the different solar bodies that we need to create: the physical, the vital, the emotional, the mental, and the causal body. In the lower third of the card, where the 2 columns are flipped because we view the temple from outside, is the world of Yetzirah, where things take form, such as our blood becoming our creative sexual energy. We see the door of the temple in these waters of Yesod, representing how the door to return up those spheres is precisely our creative energies. Thus, to enter the temple of our Divine Mother and work with her, we must preserve these creative energies and purify our waters in the esoteric practices of pranayama, which is esoteric breathwork, and eventually in alchemy, which is loving sex between 2 partners without the orgasm. These are deep teachings on their own, and as such, I will provide links in the description if you'd like to learn more about pranayama and alchemy. When performing pranayama, we have to balance willpower with imagination. However, the feminine or receptive force within us, that is our imagination, can have one of 2 states: mechanical imagination or conscious imagination. Most of us have mechanical imagination, such as fantasies about people we are attracted to, about fame, about fortune, about the foods we wish we could eat, about someone we dislike or even hate, and on it goes. As the Buddha says, a mind unruffled by the vagaries of fortune, from sorrow freed, from defilements cleansed, from fear liberated, this is the greatest blessing. All of this harms our Divine Mother and atrophies our ability to consciously imagine. This is why most of us will see darkness with our eyes closed when we start, until we learn how to restore it. For us to develop conscious imagination requires we follow the direction of the magician and the High Priestess. We sit, we become receptive, and we use willpower to focus and consciously imagine something. This could be imagining the energy moving up our spine during pranayama, It could be chanting the mantras of Kundalini Yoga and imagining our Divine Mother helping us. Or it could simply be sitting in stillness and silence to observe our mechanical imagination and how it's connected with certain egos that are within us that we need to comprehend and then ask our Divine Mother to dissolve. And this also applies eventually with meditation practice to when we're more active, like the magician, to when we're moving about our day-to-day life, as mentioned and taught in the Ego Death video on this channel. By working to restore our conscious imagination, we can begin to access what some call the Akashic Records or Universal Library. We see the High Priestess is holding a white book. This is precisely the tarot that were written in stone, as mentioned in the introduction video to this series. That book the Divine Mother holds represents these archetypes, which are the esoteric teachings found in every true religion. We see this book is internal. It is within the heart, which is wisdom accessed by intuition and developing our solar bodies through alchemy or white tantra. This is how every founder of every religion discovered and shared the cosmic laws. These were people such as the first Buddha, Muhammad, Moses, Jesus, Quetzalcoatl, Krishna, etc. Receive, Kabbalah, the root word for Kabbalah, the 22 Hebrew letters of the oath of sexual magic. I delight to do thy will, O my God, yea, thy law is within my heart. Nay, it is but clear signs in the breasts of those who have been given knowledge, Marifa in Arabic, Gnosis in Greek, Da'ath in Hebrew, and none reject our signs save the wrongdoers. This esoteric reality is taught in a veiled form by these large religions around the Western world. It was also spoken of by Gautama Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Understanding is the heartwood of well-spoken words. The High Priestess holds an Ankh or Tao cross on her breast, indicating she carries the milk of wisdom, which is our spiritual sustenance and nourishment for the soul. This milk of wisdom is real knowledge through direct experience, and that knowledge is gained through meditation and through transmutation of our sexual creative forces. I am reminded of a powerful metaphor on this topic. We are like a person who is very uneducated who has a stack of money. We have figured out that if we burn the money, we get warm. But that is all we know what to do with the money. Then someone comes up to us and says, you should not be burning that. We respond, well, what do you mean? Every time I burn this, it gives me warmth, and it is good. I feel good when I burn the money. We do not understand that our money, or in this case, our sexual energy, can be used for a lot more than sexual pleasures. If we stop wasting our creative energy, we can transmute it by working with our Divine Mother. By practicing this in daily meditation, with our hearts, we learn how to speak with her. If you look closely at this card, you can see two sets of horns. One set of horns rests upon the head of the High Priestess, and another set holds the moon, which we need to transform into a sun. It's important to mention here that horns have a dualistic quality in esotericism. There are the horns that represent our egotism, our psychological vices, our own satanic or animalistic qualities. However, horns internally, in the positive sense, are often symbolized as horns of light, which represent levels of the being, abstractly mapped in Kabbalah. This is why Moses is often represented as having horns. These are the horns of light. We also see how Krishna is often depicted with cows, a similar representation. And in Egypt, the horn goddess Hathor has a version of this very symbol upon her head. Really, we could call her Hathor Isis. The moon also has many esoteric meanings, one of which is our lunar mind that we must transmute into a solar mind. Another esoteric meaning of the moon is the sphere of Yesod, our vital body. Both our animalistic horns and our lunar moon must be transformed into their solar forms, but internally, within the superior dimensions, beyond the physical. In the upper right of the card, we see the Hebrew letter Beth. For people familiar with Christian teachings, this will remind us of Bethlehem, the star that guided the three magi towards the birthplace of Christ. Bethlehem literally means house of bread, and that bread is esoterically also wisdom. Bread is also traditionally made from wheat, which grows from a seed, and within that seed is the fire of the cosmic Christ. When a couple engages in alchemy or white tantra, meaning sex without the orgasm, if they are practicing meditation and have established their own psychological moon, they will be able to pray to their Divine Mother during this sacred rite between husband and wife, and through this act, the solar bodies are gradually built. The egos are completely dissolved. These solar bodies are known as the Sahu in Egyptian mysticism, to Soma Heliakon in Greek, the wedding garment in Christianity, and the Merkaba or Merkaba in Kabbalah. By replacing the lunar bodies we have on loan from Mother Nature, who takes them back at the allotted time, we gain the right to return to the heavens, to the superior dimensions of reality, but not as dreamers in a lunar astral body, no. We return with full consciousness in our solar, astral, mental, and causal body. And, as later tarot will symbolize in this series, we can ascend to greater heights. Although alchemy is required to build the solar bodies, a single person can practice chastity, transmutation, and meditation to establish psychological equilibrium, eliminate the ego up to 50%, and pass through what are known as the minor mysteries. Now to share a related practice with this arcanum. When you wake in the morning from a dream or astral projection and have time before your daily responsibilities, and you would like to return to this experience, remain still and relaxed in your bed. Then, with willpower, concentrate on remembering those experiences. Perhaps you visited another country, or planet, or even a strange abstract place. You can remember and even return to those places with this practice. Imagine that place, that experience. Imagine it in detail, as if you were literally there. Don't just imagine that you're imagining it, but do it as best you can. See yourself hearing, seeing, touching, and moving in that place you were just at in the astral. As your physical body returns to sleep, maintain this harmony of willpower and imagination, and you will consciously return to the place you just experienced. This may take a lot of practice, but when your willpower and clairvoyance, or conscious imagination, become strong, you can easily return to your experiences in the astral. While we can always pray silently with our heart and in our own way, there are two powerful prayers to the Divine Mother we can recite mentally in meditation or during sexual magic with our partner in alchemy or white tantra. The first prayer is from Swami Sivananda, and he gave us this wonderful prayer. The second prayer is as follows. Hadit is the masculine force, the magician, the cosmic masculine, and Nut is the Egyptian representation of the Divine Mother, of the cosmic feminine. And this mantra at the end here, I'll give you a bit of an example of how to pronounce these. You want to extend these out as long as possible, but it should sound something like Om. Aum. Kakov. Na. Ko. Now, of course, I'm doing a shortened version there, but you get the idea. You want to extend these letters out as much as possible. If you've seen the Astral Doorway Kundalini Yoga series, which I highly recommend in relation to the Tarot series, those pronunciations of those mantras are exactly the same here. There's also another great video from Jean on Astral Doorway about variations of mantras that you can utilize, and that video will help to give you an idea of the sounds, the proper sounds for this mantra. Thank you for watching, as always. We have our monthly voice chat coming up on the Discord channel where we talk and I answer questions. We also have some very helpful members in the community who are answering questions as well. If you'd like to support the channel and join our Discord group, you can find the link to Patreon in the description. The channel is approaching the point where soon I can hopefully provide the option of a YouTube membership as well for those who are unable to access Patreon. Thank you to everyone who does support. The next video will explore the Empress, third arcanum of the Tarot. If you've been following along, you may be able to guess which sphere and aspect of Kabbalah this card represents. So until the next video, wishing you happiness, joy, and peace on your path to awakening consciousness in the superior dimensions and here and now.